Namaste and welcome. I am Kumari, and I wanted to share with you something so beyond. We're talking beyond anti-aging secrets. Uh, Something that I discovered was this ability to actually unplug from aging energetically. New. So as things go in my world, I've been doing energy alchemy and energy healing and teaching spiritual concepts and channeling for years, and this one blew my mind even. So I wanted to share it with you because it's really quite extraordinary on many, many levels. So here's how I made the discovery. This is also part of what's really amazing. I believe that awakening is more than opening to new concepts or new ideas and new teachings, if you will. True spiritual awakening is about remembering who we are and remembering what we're capable of, our unlimited potential when we connect to our core essence or our divine source. And so here's what happened. I have an amazing connection with Yeshua, my spiritual guide. And that's Hebrew for Jesus. He liked the Hebrew pronunciation when I chatted with him. And so one day he told me, this will take forever. I'd like you to catch up really quickly on my lost years and my life. Find a good channeled book about that and catch up. And I was like, okay. And I admittedly promptly forgot and I didn't take action. And so luckily, I wasn't let off the hook that easily. 3 different people came in to my life and said, you have to read this book. And the title was Anna, the Grandmother of Jesus. And I remembered that was in one of my conversations with Yeshua. He wanted me to read a book about his life. So I thought, well, starting with the grandmother might be a good place. And after 3 people, I usually pay attention, right? So I grabbed the book and I began reading, and it's a beautiful book. And it talked about Anna being living for 500 years. And she spoke about how she did that in these very specific rites of the sepulchre that only the very advanced initiates of the Essene community, that was the spiritual community that Yeshua was brought up in. And apparently they were extremely well versed in Egyptian alchemy and Celtic knowledge. They ran the gamut. So Anna was at one of the higher levels, the grandmother, and she said she would periodically do these rites of the sepulchre and leave her body consciousness. And then maybe, I don't know, 50 years go by and she'd come back, and they were all trained how to embalm the body with sacred oils, essential oils, which we all know are amazing, and different techniques to to keep the physical form alive for the spiritual to come back, her consciousness. So she spoke of this and it was kind of mind-blowing, very mind-blowing. But then she said something simple. She said, I continue to practice all the time, every month, unplugging from aging. And a bell and a light went off and a huge aha. And I just went, oh my gosh, I know how to do this. And it just came as a direct knowing and a remembering. It's like, I used to know how to do this. I do know how to do this. Now, I still had none of the how. And I thought, it can't be the whole rites of the sepulchre. I'm not really planning to leave this body. But I would love to experience unplugging from aging again. And I woke up my poor husband, as I often do when I get these inspirations. They're usually 2 o'clock in the morning or something. And I said, come on, we've got to try this unplugging from aging. I'm going to figure it out as I go. But that's how deep my knowing was and my remembering. And so I began to unravel a way that I could do this way more simply than she was describing, but that, everything is energy and everything is in the quantum possible. We are infinite beings with infinite potential. And so I tapped into that ability to both identify aging as a construct and a field and something I could work with, to then begin to consciously unplug or remove myself energetically. And so I did this for many, many, many months. But the very first time I did it, it was so challenging. Not, my mind was already like, I can do this, but I didn't know the how yet. And so as I practiced my version of how, I got very creative. I think Kumari and I could hold it for about a second. And it was like this magnetics were so strong to pull us back into this construct or structure that we all operate under on Earth called aging. We started feeling like we could pull out of it, but the electromagnetics of that structure were so strong, it lasted about a second. And then I tried it again and I got maybe a second and a half. I mean, we're talking really short, but I practiced it and practiced it and practiced it. And before too long, maybe 6 months or so, I felt that I was holding this new alignment outside of the structure of the magnetic field of aging. And so I began to share it with my very long time private clients that I was continuing to work with, because I wanted to make sure everything was kosher with them. I knew they needed to be extremely grounded, extremely aware of how to manage their energy and their alignment. And so it was incredible. And so what happened was, as I shared it, they also had a similar experience, except they, because I had done it first and really mastered it, they were able to slip in way quicker than I. And so my first day when I did it, even though it was only a second, the very next morning I was taking private yoga classes with a dear friend of mine, brilliant yoga teacher. And she said, "What did you do?" Because 2 days ago and today, you're like 40% more flexible. And I think I told her, and her eyes kind of bugged out. Okay, but whatever, Kumari, just keep doing what you're doing, because this is, and I felt it. My body just felt so much stronger and more flexible overnight, just the beginnings of it. Now, my other clients, as they started practicing it, they also said, you know, pain that they had had forever in their joints, in their back, just slipped away as we practiced this energy alchemy of unplugging from aging. And other things like someone had a flu and she did this practice, and all the flu symptoms went away very, very quickly. So all sorts of results. But the other thing that happened for me, you know, it wasn't like instant facelift, I'm back to looking 20 or something. It's not a magic pill, and it may not impact you the way you think. But what was significant for me was it was way beyond a mindset, but it worked through my mindset. So as I changed my energetics, and I began to align to, I realized I'm pulling out of something, I need to hook into something and reset to something. So I began to hook into and reset my alignment to my cosmic self with this incredible thing of emerged of anchoring in cosmic mind above and cosmic heart below, and well-being all throughout. So I felt like I stepped into my expanded self. And as I'm teaching this, that's what people are doing. And it's so beyond aging. It's understanding ourselves as unlimited being and huge presences, huge spiritual consciousness. So what happened with my mindset was, very quickly, I dropped all these resistances I had to self-care, self-nurturing, you know, all the things you know you should do, but you don't do, like exercising more often, and not resisting going into the kitchen and cooking. I was so afraid of cooking because I wasn't very good at it. My mom was great. And so I all of a sudden made peace with everything. I did a 5-day juice cleanse and reset everything, and it was easy this time, you know. So all of these things I had resisted before. Not overworking. I was able to, my husband and I were able to reset our time so we weren't workaholics like we used to always be. So it was so much more than feeling more flexible, which was incredible, don't get me wrong, or moving out of pain more quickly. It released so many places where I was blocking my good, you know, where I knew I should do things. It didn't do them for me. I still had to take action, but it released that resistance, which is a major blockage. And so my clients report the same, that things that seemed much more of a struggle became easier. You know, the self-love, the self-nurturing that we need to do to keep our health became much, much easier. So I just wanted to share this amazing unlimited potential that I discovered, and I found that it is advanced. It does require a great foundational energetic, very, very grounded, very stable. I need to make sure everybody's very safe. And so I teach it now in the context of my year-long Divine Human course. And it's the whole course is amazing, but I wanted to share this one thing that I was remembering about our unlimited awareness and potential. Namaste.